I'm gonna give you the top 5 best exercises that you can do for your biceps as an athlete, and we're gonna start right now. What's up everybody, it's Dane Miller from GarageStrength.com, and if this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in becoming a better athlete, you wanna be more explosive, you wanna take those weight room gains over to the field, you wanna get some bigger biceps and triceps, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so we can help you become a champion. So bicep training tends to get a bad rap, especially in the world of sports performance and athletic performance. A lot of coaches don't want to isolate. They think the isolation is the devil, right? They're like,
don't touch any machines, they're horrible. You don't want to train in single joint movements. It's terrible to do that.
And I think that the problem ends up being is that if there's a structural problem, if you've got shoulder issues here, or if you've got elbow issues, there's actually benefits from isolating those joints and by actually training through those positions, and that can actually improve other positions. So if I do have a shoulder issue or I do have a bicep issue down here, I can do isolated bicep eccentric tendinopathies. Let's just say something along those lines to help deal with my elbow pain, or with my shoulder pain, I go overhead and my shoulder sort of bugs me. There might be a weakness or a tightness or whatever it might be in my shoulder that prevents me from going overhead because of my bicep. So now if I can isolate that and start to do some specific work, my overhead position might improve. My front position, if I'm bench pressing, might improve because of the bicep work that we're doing. And so it's important to realize that there's a lot more to it than just isolation and machines. You can actually find a significant benefit. And one of those movements that I really like to utilize for bicep training is something that I refer to as a post curl. In a post curl, I like to be standing, and most of the time when we're gonna be doing our bicep work or our tricep work, I like to have my athletes stand, because this is where we're gonna be when we're typically doing most of our athletic movements. And on top of that, if I'm standing, I can produce a little bit more force, I can produce a little bit more power, and that's gonna help transfer to a heavier load. And so one of the things that I love about a post curl as well is it's gonna give me a longer stretch here, okay? And even just with that slight bit of wrist extension here into wrist flexion, I can lengthen my bicep, and I'm gonna be back behind. I'm gonna have lengthened pecs and shoulders here, and I wanna get a big curl coming up with that slow eccentric. It's a way for me to provide a decent amount of support with my back and to increase my range of motion in my bicep, and also lengthen my pec, lengthen my shoulder, which can then in turn lead to better positions if I'm pressing, better positions overhead. If I do it with a dumbbell with a hammer grip, okay, so like a hammer curl here, I get that nice stretch here, I get good tension, and I wanna hold here at the top for some isometric work. And what ends up happening is that when we're holding at the top, okay, if I'm a grappler, if I wrestle or I do jujitsu, or even if I'm an offensive or defensive lineman, when we're in this position right here, okay, we have elbow co-contraction happening if I'm pass pro as an offensive lineman. If I'm grappling with somebody here, okay, we're gonna have elbow co-contraction. That means my bicep is gonna be activated and my tricep. And so one of the big key factors here with the post curls, with that hammer grip, now I'm gonna train that co-contraction. That co-contraction is to make my elbow more stable. Same thing if I get that deep stretch here, come up, that co-contraction of the bicep, and I also wanna light up my tricep. That's gonna help transfer to that sporting world, and that's the big key factor, is that you've gotta understand the purpose behind it, okay? So if I wanna train to create more elbow stability, think about locking out overhead as a weightlifter, think about punching as an offensive lineman, think about throwing the shot. If we have more stability in that joint, that's gonna provide a lot more safety, and it could potentially prevent injury. And so if you do these, once or twice a week for 4 sets of 20 to 25 reps, now you're gonna dramatically increase the strength of your bicep, and you're also gonna hit that better positioning related to your shoulder. So that next awesome bicep movement that I love to utilize with my athletes is going to be homers. And so I like to utilize homers with a towel. And the reason why I like to do this is because of how well it trains my grip. So if I'm training my grip, I want to walk with the towels, with the dumbbells attached to the towels, and I might walk for 10 to 15 meters. At that position right here, this is that, we want to look for that elbow co-contraction, right? Then we're going to get to the end, and we're going to utilize this with curl. Then we're going to go back, we're going to turn around, and we're going to have even more time under tension. We want to train this, we want to come back, get to the end, curl again. Typically, we're going to do 10 to 12 curls on each end, okay? So we're going to walk with that isometric position at that 90 degrees, and we'll walk for 10 to 15 meters. We'll hit those curls, walk again in that isometric position, hit those curls again. And the big thing here, think about wrestlers, think about jiu-jitsu. The towel almost mimics the gi perfectly. Now we start talking about throwers, shot putters, baseball players. If you need grip work, this is key to improving your grip, to improving your brachioradialis, and connecting that with your bicep. So it's going to help stabilize that elbow joint. It's going to also help stabilize your wrist. Now all of a sudden you're a little bit stronger. And on top of that, like I mentioned earlier with the post curls, we're doing it while we're walking, while we're standing, and that's going to help you transfer that over to the sporting world. So a couple key factors too that we've got to remember when we're working with the biceps is one of the main reasons why I like doing homers with a towel is because our biceps tend to be a little bit slower twitch, especially related to our triceps. When we're training a slower twitch muscle group, okay, like the biceps, it pays to do a lot of isometric work. So that's where the homers came into play. It also pays off to do a lot of overhead work because it can put you in a position of flexion that's advantageous to shoulder health. Two key factors behind bicep training. Isometric work pays off a lot, and a type of overhead bicep work is going to dramatically improve your shoulder health. And that's where I like to utilize spider curls. That's the third exercise here, spider curls. Sometimes I might do them over a box. I might do them over the side of a bench, or I might do it over the side of jerk boxes I've done in the past. And here we've got our Scott bench or our preacher curl bench right here. Now, what ends up happening is if I can get into position and I'm here and I can move my hips back quite a bit, okay? Now I'm lengthening that bicep as much as possible, and I'm in almost an overhead position here. And I want to get that contraction at the top. Think about, this is a very similar position I would be in if I was on a crossover machine, okay? A cable crossover, it's gonna be almost the exact same position, but the benefit becomes I can load it quite a bit more than I would a cable crossover because I've got a fat grip barbell, okay? An easy curl barbell. So we're not only gonna lead to that nice stretch in the bicep, we're going to improve our grip because of the size of the bar. You can see this, we got a 1 3/4 inch bar. But we're also going to improve our overhead stability. So think about the way I was just seated, I'm here. Now we come up when I'm standing, this is a position I'm gonna be in. So think about that cable crossover. The position of flexion now, when I'm at that top, it's that top range that's really going to lead to some serious growth in the bicep. And that is exactly where that top range, when we're in a semi-overhead position, that's going to protect the shoulder. So spider curls, if you've got somebody who has shoulder issues, they have shoulder stability issues, put spider curls in their program once, twice a week. They're easy to recover from, 3 to 5 sets, higher reps, because they're slower twitch. Okay, so my number one trick to blowing up your biceps as an athlete and having that transfer over to other sports, right? So in the past, we've done videos on positions of flexion, we've done videos on pre-fatigue. And one of the big key factors is if I see somebody who's just got pathetic biceps and you think about a wrestler, they can barely hold an underhook. They get a knee pick and they just cannot hold on to that knee at all. They can barely hold on to a cradle. Or if I see a shot putter with serious elbow problems because of the speed of release, right? one of the key factors that we can utilize is pre-fatigue. And so what that means is, I'm gonna show you right here, is that I've got fat grip Zotmans, okay? So fat grips is gonna help me increase the strength in my wrist flexors, in my forearm flexors. It's gonna help me recruit quite a bit more in my biceps, okay? And I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna rotate, and I'm gonna bring them back down, okay? Supinate, pronate, okay? Supinate, pronate. And what I wanna do is I wanna stimulate my biceps quite a bit. I'm gonna be fatigued, but almost to that point where I can barely do another rep. Okay, so let's say we do 17 to 20 reps, fat grip Zotman curls, okay? I'm getting a decent pump in my forearms, I'm getting a decent pump in my biceps, okay? I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna drop it. Now the key is I wanna rest about 30 to 60 seconds. So put them down, I'm gonna rest about 30 to 60 seconds. We're gonna walk over, and one of the big key factors that I love of bicep training is I just isolated my elbow, okay? So fatigue the hell out of my biceps and my forearm flexors. Now, one of the best movements that we can do to stimulate our biceps is a compound movement, a chin up, a curl up. I call them curl ups. When we do a curl up, especially if it's weighted, it's taking the bicep and putting a ton of load on it, and it's training your bicep how to co-contract and coordinate, how to coordinate properly with your shoulders. So we just pre-fatigued, now we're gonna hit the curl up. Our grip's a little fatigued, our biceps are a little fatigued. We wanna pause in the bottom, get a slow eccentric. We gotta remember the isometric position, biceps respond really well to time under tension. So we wanna get a slower eccentric, a little bit of a pause in the lengthened position here. Up. And then as I get tired, what I like to do, 1, 2. One more. 1, 2, down slow. Okay, so when we get to the top, we're gonna squeeze, bring that sternum into the bar. That's gonna help blow up the biceps. It's gonna help increase the strength and the size. It's gonna help you become a better athlete. So if you want help with your bis and tris, if you wanna blow up your biceps, you wanna blow up your triceps, we've got bis and tris 1 and 2. These are 2 books that I put together. They're cheap, they're under 30 bucks. And they've got a whole bunch of information behind bicep and tricep training that's gonna help you add some serious mass, add some size to your bis, add some size to your tris. You can click on the link down below in the description. You can head over to garagestrength.com and you can pick up bis and tris 1 and 2 so you can get those upper arm gains. If you want more information about arm-based training, click on this card right here. Until next time, guys, peace.